been asking lately if, as parents, they should delete their kid's YouTube channel or if YouTube is a good place for your kid. A lot of parents are against their kids having YouTube channels, and especially if they're reaching out to other people or just socializing with other people. And I'm here to say that under certain circumstances, yes, it is good for them not to have one, but most of the time, it's good for them to have one. And here are the reasons. YouTube is a great place for your kids to socialize. You should keep an eye on what your kid's doing, of course. YouTube has guidelines in place, so if there is something questionable that's going on, YouTube will take care of it. But it's also your job as the parent to make sure that your kid is acting in accordance with how they're supposed to. Like, they're not putting themselves in danger by talking to strangers in a weird kind of way that's going to cause trouble for them. This is your job as the parent to make sure that you talk to your kids about, discuss with them at length about this and the dangers of this. But the reason why it's good for them to have a YouTube channel, and you should supervise them if they're very, very young, you should supervise them having a YouTube channel, is because it's a great way for them to socialize and to see what's out there in the world. The worst thing you can do for your kid is over-shelter them. Many parents are under the impression that if they shelter their kids enough, they protect them. But in the long run, you do not. Because by sheltering them, you're not equipping them enough or giving them the adequate tools to really face what is out there in the world. We can take animals in the animal kingdom for an example, like the cheetah or the leopard. The cheetah mother will actually, when her kids are of a certain age and they're able to walk, take them out into a hyena's territory. And she will protect her kids, but she will let them understand what it's like to be in danger, in the thick of things, so they can learn to develop a fear of these hyenas. Instead of her just telling them in her cheetahese language that hyenas are bad, she shows them. She lets them feel the fear and why it is dangerous. Not just that they should avoid them, but why they should avoid them and how to deal with them in the future. If they walk away with their lives, they're lucky enough to realize that, well, this is not a situation I want to be in. By sheltering your kids and just telling them no and taking away their ability to express themselves online or to go online, you're not doing them any favors, because all that's going to happen is they're going to find a way to do it. There's so many resources out here nowadays, and your kid will find a way to be online. By you telling your kid no and taking away that ability to look up the resources or what have you, she will or he will get those answers from someone else or on his or her own. And she will actually see you as an obstacle in gaining information. So you don't want to shelter your kids. And YouTube's a great place for that, because you have all these different people with different ideas coming on the platform and giving you information. Now, what you as a parent can do is also sit with your child and say, okay, well, this is where this person's coming from. What is your perspective on this? What do you think about this? Well, I think it's right. And you can tell them why you think it's wrong or whatever the case is. YouTube's also a great place for your kid to express themselves. I've heard so many parents say that, well, I have an autistic child, or I have a 14-year-old kid and they have a YouTube channel and I don't want them having one. Why not? The very important parts of your kid's life within this age group is to socialize and learn how to be a functional adult. I don't think you can argue that we don't get as much of that as we used to in the old days. Most people are not socializing like that. So where people do it is online. And it's actually very healthy, because it teaches your kid how to have thick skin and how to be tolerant of other people with different ideas. By outright sheltering them from the platform, you're cutting them off from people in their age group or other groups that they can learn things from. You cannot just be it for your kids, especially if you work and you have a life outside of your kids as well. You're not able to be with them all the time. That will only make you out to be the enemy or something that the kid wants to hide from. So you definitely don't want them. The other reason YouTube is a good place for your kid is because it encourages competition and creativity. Many children today think that whatever they do, that's good enough and they should be applauded just because they did it, when that's not the truth. In the real world, you'll be applauded for your creativity and how you can actually make a difference in society. Not just because you're there sitting and spewing out nonsense. Nobody's going to notice you under certain circumstances. It teaches them to push to be the best of themselves they can be. It is very hard to run a YouTube channel, and that will also teach your kids some measure of work ethic as well. If they're doing it as a hobby, why not? it's a great way for them to express themselves. And in a way, it's good that they have a YouTube channel because they may end up saying things on their mind that they would never tell you because they're talking to other kids about it. This is a great way for you to get to know your kid. Maybe also it's a great way of getting to be a part of your kid's life by asking them what their YouTube channel is, or if you know what their YouTube channel is, follow them. Don't say anything to them about their YouTube channel, but get to know your kid in that regard. And based on how they speak, you can know how to also speak to your child about certain matters or ask them what they think on certain things. It's a great way when a kid has a YouTube channel to see what is in their mind. It also teaches them to be very self-sufficient. Some kids get very sensitive on YouTube because people make fun of them. But over time, they will come back and they will learn to overcome people making fun of them. It helps teach them that they are good enough and they don't need validation from other people to create or be themselves. So if your child has a YouTube channel, it is not a big deal. If you have a kid that is like 3 years old or 4 years old, then that is something that you should do with them because there are a lot of dangers online as well. And if you want to filter what your kid is taking in that sense or whatever, then it's good that you were there with them. I don't think you should hide information like that from your kids because they will hear it at school. They will hear it where you're not. So the best thing to do is to expose them to it yourself so you can also help to teach them or talk to them about the topic instead of them hearing it from their friends and keeping it from you. Remember, we're in a day and age where your kids will get information anywhere. So I think it is a really good thing for your kid to have a YouTube channel as a place to express themselves. And it's a way for you to also get involved with your child's life as well, looking into something that they have a passion for and that you can also do together. What you don't want to do is disable your kid's YouTube channel or tell them that they cannot do YouTube because they will do it with or without you. And that will put a rift in your relationship. So that's the answer that we have for now. So we hope that was helpful and stay tuned for other videos. Thank you so much for watching.